Welcome back and thanks for keeping it KBC. Away from education matters now, let's focus on the politics shaping the country. And on set, I have two politicians who are even gunning for bigger seats in the 2022 election, but they do know a thing or two about politics. And we have on my immediate left, we have Gideon Gachara, who is the majority leader, Kiambu County Assembly, and also the MCA of the Njue. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
And on my extreme left, we have Elijah Karanja. Elijah Karanja is a politician and also a gubernatorial aspirant in the newest city in the country, that is the great city of Nakuru. Karibuni, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And first things first, you'll be vying also for an MCA seat again?
Yeah, definitely I'll be defending my position, which is MC in Njue. I'm serving my first term, so I'm looking forward to be given an opportunity so that I can serve my second, term as the MC in Njue, Njue ward, and I'm vying on UDA ticket, so I'm looking forward for being nominated on 14th of April.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, fine. I'm an independent candidate. First of all, like you said, I'm from Nakuru County. My name is Elijah Karanja, and I'm running for the gubernatorial position in Nakuru County as an independent candidate. The reason maybe most people would ask why is simply because party politics in Kenya has become very difficult. We see the way nominations are, no ideologies. I'm sorry to say my brother here, pretty much like kiosk. And my politics, from what I want to set my politics, is ideas, because I believe it's about ideas. Politics is about ideas. And so that's why I decided, after looking at all the parties, especially in my area where the candidates were already predetermined for the gubernatorial seat, so I had to vie as an independent candidate.
Do you have any, perhaps, even if you will be vying as an independent candidate, do you have any political inclination? Perhaps you will be supporting Baba or you'll be supporting Ruto?
Okay, or at national level?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'm trying to tell people the position I'm going for is for the governor. And thanks, I hope they support me too, because one thing I know, they are running a candidate against me, each one of them. As the national politics shape up, as we move on. But right now, I'm vying as a governor of Nakuru County. And I'm not taking positions. I respect both gentlemen. And I hope they also sell their ideas at the national level. Because that's where they are. Because if you look at both governments, they are very dependent. As a matter of fact, we have an attitude of thinking the county and the national government should work together. But even if you look at the constitution, each one of them is singularly delegated. So I would say I respect the gentlemen, and I hope they also support me. But up to this point, I respect their positions, and I would wish, even at Nakuru level, they respect the gubernatorial position as independent.
Okay, you will tell us more on why you want to become the next Nakuru governor, and you're being pitted against very formidable candidates.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind my asking, what is your background?
Education? Oh, okay, fine. I went to, if I start, I went to...
In a nutshell.
Okay, fine. I'm a graduate of Karanja University, whereby I did economic sociology, and then I moved to America. I went for my master's, but unfortunately I did not finish because of the economic situations here at home at that time. But I did have experiences in working there and working and living in that society, and still I had some kind of education which cannot be not at a higher level. But yeah, that's my...
yes, I was able to pick up some accent in your speech, but that's just a light moment. Yes. Let's go back to majority leader.
Yes.
Which political inclination?
I'm running on a UDA ticket. So having resigned from Jubilee because I was elected, through Jubilee ticket, and I have my reason as to why I have decided to run on a UDA ticket. We, the people of Mount Kenya, or the mountain, we have supported our president for the 2 terms. And it is now the time now for him to retire. And we appreciate the good work which he has done throughout the country. But again, we feel that we have to enjoy some freedom to make our decision. We remember very well when they sought prayers. Actually, it was in Nakuru Stadium, Afra Stadium, where they came together. Then they were reading, the president was reading the TNA, and the deputy was actually the party leader, URP. And they formed a coalition where they agreed that the president should enjoy his 10 years, and also the deputy president should also enjoy his 10 years. Now we are people who do not want to break promises, and that is why we have decided, and we are happy with how the country has been governed. So we do not want to be perceived as people who do not, who betrays others, who do not keep promises.
But with all due respect, a lot has changed since then. They were even wearing the same ties, the same shirts, but the politics are so dynamic. They change every now and then. If we decide to put whatever we said 10 years ago and decide that it will be our future, don't you think that in politics-wise, that's
quite normal? Even that's quite normal. People come together, people break friendship. Yes. That's quite normal. And also politics is not exceptional. So it is because there is no permanent element of friendship in politics. It is just interest. But we have a president who is retiring, surely. He should just, emulate Kibaki. Kibaki never took side. He should just go and retire peacefully.
But some people have argued that it is his democratic right.
Yeah.
Yes, and by saying that even a long time ago when we had chiefs, they did leave their son and say this will be the next, or don't you think that's democracy?
But you have just said that, things change. That was then. Now we are under new...
Things change.
But we appreciate actually, and we respect his decision.
All right.
He can decide, to support anybody. And obviously he has shown where he is. He has decided to support Honorable Raida. Now,
yes. And gentlemen, talking about allegiance and support of each other, looking at the last couple of days, the nation was treated to a political shocker when you talked about the news that have been shaping the best part of the weekend, the president impeachment. When we are talking about politics, do you think that's the right way to go? And after that, we hear the deputy now shoots and says A, B, C, D. The president say this, now they say, and they are the two most politicians in the country. They are our leaders. Do you think that's quite it's fruitful, or it's good for the nation at this political moment?
Okay, what I understand and what I said from my colleague here, and he holds a very senior position, especially in the county government as a majority leader. So he has political authority. I'll tell him about the political culture, because what he is talking about is what we call cognitive dissonance. Like you're made to believe something that does not exist. I would say personally in politics, I cannot even choose side, because how would I choose side? Because all I get is more of the same. Because when you're looking at the government, what you look is facts and analysis. And the problem with our people is talking to them facts and analysis is useless, because they are enjoying what we call, they're enjoying emotional superiority through their ignorance. Because if you hear like somebody say like Uhuru did this, but Uhuru cannot tell me this, then the deputy for Uhuru tells you to do this. Then that tells you it's a circular mentality. You are not talking about anything. As a matter of fact, if you look, everybody who is jumping ship from each and every party, they're the same people we had in 2017. What has changed? It's opportunity to get to power. Simple. It's opportunity to get to power. And credit to the deputy president personally. He has created this grassroots mobilization. But what I would tell him, I was to meet him, most of the politicians are taking advantage of him. Because I can tell you, and I say here on this TV, after elections, if the deputy president doesn't become the president, they all shift. They'll go to the other boat. We know them. It's the same monkeys, different forest. So it's not about ideas, and let's not try to hype it and try to cover it and beautify it. Let's say we are following deputy because he's popular, and whoever is following prime minister is popular. But and the president has a choice to go wherever he wants. Maybe we cannot compare Uhuru and Kibaki according to their politics. Maybe he feels he needs to be there. So, but when you talk about where we want to follow, let's put facts and analysis and say, why are we not following this guy? What has he done against what he's supposed to have done? I think that's
Gachara, do you concur with what Elijah is talking about? And we have seen people changing sides as early as 2 days ago, where you see people shifting from UDA to Jubilee, UDA, ODM, UDA. We have seen them jumping ship before the nominations, and he says that looking at the politics that we have in the country, these are the same monkeys who are going to be jumping to another forest just because either on the nominations that are coming, or if one of the two sides doesn't win.
Let me say this. Human being is an evolving being. Today you believe in something, tomorrow you run something, and you change. He has also taken a side, or he has chosen, he has made a decision to be an independent candidate based on, something. And by shifting from one party, you have not violated any law. You are free to do that. The Constitution allows. And people are free to do that until 26th of this month.
Yes.
So people are free to do that. So it will only become illegal if you do that after that deadline. So people are free to do that. And back to your first question, when you said the politics of the week, whether it is polarizing the country, I would say that a tree is known by its fruit. And we have observed the two people per se, the president and the deputy president. And saying that he tried to impeach him, that is, I think, propaganda. Just at this particular time, we are going to hear everything about candidate A or candidate B.
Okay.
But if you look at...
Even my question is what it is doing to the politics of the day and the country, in as much as it's my word against yours, what it is doing to the politics of the day.
And that is where I differ with my colleague a bit. Our people are more enlightened. Currently, our people are more enlightened. In fact, before you tell them something, they already know it. Like the people I represent, the Kiambu, the Kiambu people are very much enlightened. In fact, most of the time, we do not just make decision, and report back to them. We sit down, we make decision together, and at times we also get to learn from them. So our people are able to look around what is happening, and they are able to detect that these are just propaganda, and it cannot polarize the country anymore, because they know why. Was it not brought, sometime before? It has just been brought currently when we are having campaigns, because it is intended to polarize the country, but our people are more enlightened, and they may.
And you are the majority leader of the Kiambu County Assembly, and I can say it's one of the biggest in the country. And of course, when it comes to even the GDP that Kiambu County itself has on its own, even before we talk about the national GDP, is quite immense. How is the relationship now? You, as a county assembly, did oust Babayao, Ferdinand Waititu, and now you have Njue as the governor. How have things been? At least you can enlighten Kenyans.
Well, in fact, you have not had any noise, from Kiambu County. Yeah. Immediately we finished impeaching, and I can clearly say that I read that fight, that clamor for change, and we were impeaching a governor based on fact, on what he had done. And we were actually the first county assembly to do that. So we are people of high integrity and also high moral values. And since then, since the current governor took over, we have been able to pacify and the county, and we have been working together that is the executive and the county assembly, and we have delivered a lot which was not actually delivered for the last 7 years. Bearing in mind the amidst COVID pandemic, we have been able to deliver a lot because we brought in a manager who was able to manage the county properly, and we were able to instill sanity and prudence utilization of public fund.
All right, that's a good way to put it. Elijah, yes, you've been and you've lived in the United States, and you know it has been hailed as one of the greatest world democracies. But we have seen some consensus in parties where, like, we hear ANC did talk to Senator Malala and former Senator Halwale and decided this is our candidate, so you should step aside. That's consensus as opposed to democracy. We saw it in Narok, where the DP did talk to all those who wanted to vie, and they came up with one person. We've seen it in ODM, in Siaya.
Yeah.
What would you say on the same? Because in a democracy, we should fight it out.
Okay, fine. First of all, if I may do a little bit of comparative of American democracy and why that democracy works versus what we have here, is a gender-based politics. You know, like if you vying there for the presidency or whatever, there's what they call domestic policy, there's foreign policy, and there's economics. Most of the time, those are the basically what they talk about. When they talk about domestic policy, they talk about healthcare, they talk about the social integration, you know, the way their society is at that moment. When they talk about America is very powerful in foreign policy, so definitely you see them all over the world trying to control for whatever reason. And then there is what we call economics. Americans are very they have attachment to economics because that's where the jobs comes, that's where the money is going to come, the money is joining the country.
And the taxes.
Exactly, taxes. Yes. So basically, if the economy is working, most of these things are the things we do, because even the foreign policy has to follow a powerful economic policy. The problem with our governance here is, first of all, they don't have anything. And I know a young fella like my friend here, I wouldn't blame him for whatever reason is happening in Kiambu, because he's a young fella, but he's dominated by our political culture. Because if you hear mostly like at his position, he's supposed to have specific data. Because if you say like roads, you know, before Nyoro and Waitito, we have done 10,000 kilometers of ABC and D. If it's education, we have done so many, we have built so many classes. If it's ABC, that's the data. That's why I told you it matters so much. We push our politicians today to talk about facts and analysis, because in that context we'll be able to judge what kind of reader we are getting. But without them, then we are all movers. We are all over trying to paint a picture that does not exist. If you look at my county, because let me talk about Nakuru County. If you look like our Human Development Index, you know, like my colleague here talk about people are informed. The way you judge how people are informed is through Human Development Index, which shows you what kind of education people are getting, their life expectation and quality of life, poverty. But if you look at counties, even Kiambu, by the way, if you look at their index, we are below. We are performing below even the United Nations numbers. You know, we are like at 5.2. Something like that, 5.2, 5.4. That is a very low number for people to be informed the decisions they are making. And that is why my first policy is education, education, education. As one area of enlightening our people and again trying to fight the abject poverty our people live in.
Perhaps you would, Gachara, would like to respond to what he said as you also look at what I had asked earlier. Consensus, do you believe we should be going the consensus way or the democracy way? Because we've seen parties agree that we will not field, and perhaps we have independent candidates like Elijah who would want the people to decide for themselves.
Thank you. Let me also tell my colleague here that we have data, and given an opportunity, we can also clearly show what we have been able to do. Remember, we also read by an economist like him. My background is in computing. I have a degree in computer science. So we do a lot of analysis. And we can support what I'm saying, using data. Because we know numbers do not try.
Yes.
So we have data on what we have been able to do. Let me say that in politics, that as long as you don't violate any law, you are free to do anything. We have also seen some time back, and also I'm also foreseeing somewhere in Northeastern, they have negotiated democracy. That is agreeable, as long as it does not elicit a fight or a division. So consensus are, you can do consensus. If people agree to come together and decide on something, as long as you are not violating any law, you can do that. Something he has also mentioned about, and it is good to compare us with the US, but also we are the people to build this country. Yes, we claim that US is more developed, is doing this. What are we doing to our country? We are the people to develop this country. Look at our age and compare it with US. You cannot compare. Can we judge us? Can we compare us with them at a similar age? Well, how are they behaving? I believe they were still, practicing slave trade, as we are not. So we are ahead. So me, I'm not ashamed. We may be experiencing some problem. Yes, I know we are experiencing some problem. But as a reader, I'm a person who is supposed to fix that. That is why, in most cases, you will not hear me, comparing ourselves with other developed nations, because they are the people who build their country. We also have a responsibility to build our country, and we do not have necessarily to build it the way others have done.
All right. Okay. You've heard that, Elijah, and still responding to that, I would also want us to look at, still on democracy, we are looking at party primaries. Between the 9th and the 15th of this coming month. And we've seen a lot of game of musical chairs from point A to point B. Is it signs of things to come in August?
Okay, my colleague here is a computer scientist. He knows how to work algorithms. As a matter of fact, I know he's so good. Right now, given no politicians, he would work algorithm with an outcome. Is it true? You know what will happen. We know what will happen after nomination. We know some of these people already opened the window of independent. The independent office will be overloaded with these people because they cannot follow democracy. They don't believe in it.
So you're saying very well that we will not see the democracy.
No, we're not going to see democracy either outside the party.
In either party?
Exactly.
Why is that?
In and out. Because it's a culture. Njue, let me tell you something. And I will remind my colleague about here. He's talking about so much about law, written law. But it's about the moral law. If the written law contradicts the moral law, it's useless. Colonial government were using written law. They really oppressed our people through written law. Kenyatta was put through trial, and the Kapenguria 6 through written law. They had lawyers, they had judges, and a written law. Moi was governing this country through written law. Everybody who was doing this country was, and we defy them, because if the written law overcomes moral law, it's useless. You cannot obey a law that is not morally right. So you cannot just say because the laws are written, you're right. No. You have to have a moral conscience as a reader. Because I was telling somebody, if you are governor right here, you've been given two choices: to buy a V8 worth 25 million or to build a school. And the law tells you to buy a V8. What does the law tell you? What's the morality?
The school.
Exactly. You defy that law. You buy the school. You build a school. That's the way we are supposed to see things. Written law is what we have been using to camouflage one thing, to abuse power. One, corruption. You see, these people, some of them, I'm not saying they take billions and then they go to court, they pay bond and all that, but they don't care. They don't have conscience. So we are supposed to, first of all, have readers who have conscience, who have feelings. How are these people acting? Because if you look at our governors, they live like small cheese. They live, they're trying to compare themselves with the national government. They're using, like my governor, he uses 1.1 million every day. That's the kind of money we maintain with him. Our GDP is barely 500 billion.
You note, the issue here is that you must be popular to be elected. Some of us believe, we are confident enough that regardless where we are, we shall still clinch the position we are.
So you do believe that the party primaries will offer a good dress rehearsal for the 2022 polls?
Sure, with reason.
Yes.
With reason. Because my friend has said that I'm not, giving fact. That the race is quite tight for any party. It's quite tight.
That is true.
And for the party to succeed in August, they must make sure that the best candidate clinch the ticket. If by any chance they perform a shoddy, nomination exercise, definitely they are going to lose in August. So any party is going to make sure that the primaries are very fair and free, so that the best candidate clinch the ticket, so that he is able to fight off with the other party. Any mistake which would happen in between, it will have a great ramification.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you, of course, you.
No. First of all,
you are an independent candidate,
absolutely.
but so much so. Do you believe that there will be democracy in the party primaries that will mirror the 2022 general polls, despite the fact that you are vying as an independent candidate?
First of all, let me tell my brother here, we're just rebuttaling because the problem that exists in Kiambu exists in Nakuru. We are all held up in the same garment of mutuality. And I can tell you, I can take facts A, B, C, and D and see probably as a majority leader, I know he has gone through so much. Even in his own organizing his group, he tried to be, horse trading. I know he has gone through challenges, and I know his challenges are our challenges, and that's maybe what personally I want to fix. What you ask about is what democracy? Like I told you, Njue, that word, remove it from your explanation. There is nothing called democracy in Kenya. No. Let's rename it, my friend. Because when you use the word democracy,
because you're vying as an independent, because the parties, the two parties, the two major political formations will have to have democracy. Let
me ask you a question. Yes. I know you're a young man. There is one fact we should tell you: there is no democracy here. I know when you were born, things have changed. We have more universities than we had before. New cars have come up. We have even new fashion and dressing style. But do you know, I can tell you, the only politician you don't know right now is the one who is dead. Since you knew what politicians are. These are the same people you have heard since you became of age. Am I right?
I'm quite sure you're coming with that line because you want people to vote you, because you say you're different. I've never vied for any political seat. I don't have any political inclination. Is it the case?
No, okay, fine. First of all, let me tell you, I voted before. I was in Jubilee. Let me just be very... yeah, absolutely. And the manifesto...
At least it's opening up now.
Listen, let me tell you something. As you grow, you have to learn the ropes. There's no doubt. In politics, you have to learn the ropes. When I was in Jubilee, personally, I thought about the manifesto was working so well.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, personally, I found like infrastructure the guy was doing, but there's a lot of infighting in the politics. But as we age in politics, now I figured out, if you do your data, if the president is out, the party is out. Look at Moi. Moi went out, Kanu died.
But it is still there.
No. I mean like the power it had. What kind of, it was a juggernaut then. Kibaki, PNU was gone. You see? And I can tell you right now, as much as we are trying to rehabilitate Jubilee is technically not going to survive. It's not dead. It's not dead, but it's going to have it very hard. I'm not going to say it there.
Do you believe that Jubilee is dead?
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not. It's not. Let me tell you something. Jubilee, as one, how would Jubilee be dead where the same monkeys jump to UDA? They will kill UDA and come to Jubilee. That's what they're doing. We know how they hop, party hopping. Right now, I'm telling you, Njue, take it to the bank. August, you told me I am delaying failure.
Yes.
Let me tell you, nobody is delaying failure like those people who are trying to follow the political establishment. Because come August, after elections, I know if Raila doesn't win, There will nothing be called Azimio. That will be dead. If Ruto doesn't win, there is nothing which will be called UDM.
But ODM has maintained the fire.
I said Azimio. I said Azimio.
That's just a
I said Azimio. Yeah. Azimio would die then.
You two are Jubilee Party members, but you've all jumped ship, and I know we can have this conversation for the next 2 hours or so. But away from that, the politics that we're having in the country right now, you're a majority leader, and there are so many things that we are grappling with as a country as well, despite the fact that the elections must be conducted. We have hunger, we have drought in the country, we have, of course, COVID is not yet over as well, and we also have some parts of the country insecurity, because at the end of the day, we cannot be, because we are here in Nairobi, and we only have the normal insecurity, robbery, but looking at some part of the country, they are actually having it quite rough than other parts of the country, and the politicians have decided to use that as their fodder when politicking. What do you have to say on that, majority leader?
Absolutely, what you have said is that the country is actually experiencing some challenges. The drought, as you have rightly said, is there, and our people are actually suffering. Even some of the area that we are representing, because I also represent Arua side of Kiambu. Actually, it is belong to the Asal region, and it would be unfortunate for any politician to take advantage of that and politicize the subject. What we should be doing is that we should be coming together, and we actually trying to our level best to assist those who are experiencing those challenges. And personally, we are running a foundation where we are trying in our small way to assist those people who are hungry, as we also wait for the government also to also meet its own obligation, because it is work which should be done by the government. But I have also seen that they have also devised a way that they are also reaching those people. Traditional, they used to give the relief food, but currently there is a fund which they are giving the people. There's a name they are using. There's a fund transfer mechanism which they are using to reach the people, so that they can eliminate the expenses of the trucks and other expenses. So I think if there is a time that all people, regardless of their political inclination, they should come together, it is a time like this. But we also praying to God that He also give us rain, and we have started actually experiencing some rain. So in few months' time, we should be
come and dry. And still, Elijah, you can chip in with that, because at the end of the day, as we are politicking, 3 million people need food.
Yeah.
We also have many people who have been displaced by bandits in this very country. And the economy is still battered, but the politics that we are having are not addressing that. Or is it because we see the elections are less than 4 months?
Okay. First of all, let me digress a little bit. The issue of 200 years or whatever is debunked by China. China has been able to. By the way, did you know China had a per capita GDP lower than Kenya in 1980?
Really?
Yeah. Right now it's number 2 in PPP, purchasing power parity. And China is, first of all, the first thing if you're developing, and I'm telling you because my colleague here, because he's in the government, he's a majority leader. And I would rather, he told us, right as you ask this question, and I'm trying to mirror your problem with the one you're getting there, and it's not yours, it's a system. I want to attack the system, because I hear his intentions are very good. You know, he's talking about, even he has his own foundation, he won't help. But he want to do, what's the government doing about it? You know, that's why I want to say, like, in Kiambu, also in the area, by the way, I know people are hurting. You know, everywhere. As much as we are looking at the bigger picture, there is some underground issues here happening, but we are not knowing. There are so many people going hungry. But imagine we have transferred 3 trillion to the devolved government for the last 10 years, something like that, right? But we cannot feed our people, the most basic. So So that is my question. That's the question I would ask. So my question is, why don't we come up with measures that will eliminate that problem for good? And like you're saying, maybe now we can use relief, but you can't do it for 60 years. Oh, we've been doing relief every year for 60 years.
I can say what we have been able to do actually in Kiambu. In fact, when Governor Njue came...
Can you kindly hold the thought?
No problem.
And of course, when I come back, you will be telling us what you do so that you may become the next majority leader, because you're defending your seat. And why the governor? No MCA, MP, or maybe the senator.
I don't sound.
We'll be getting back. But for now, let's cross over to Westlands, where there was a meeting by the registrar of political parties on an update on political parties membership. That's a good place to pick up this conversation from. And something that she has brought in as much as how parties can select their candidates. You can touch on that and tell us how you intend to turn the tables and become the next majority leader again for the Kiambu County.
Thank you. The party is at liberty to either conduct nomination, build consensus, and you have seen areas that they have already started, or even conduct a survey. The party is at liberty to do that when to select a candidate which is going to be a flag bearer. So that is within the law. I'm rallying on my development track record, because personally I'll be judged by what I've done, my performance, because I'm seeking re-election. And I am proud to report to the people of Njue that we have been able to solve perennial problems. We have solved the perennial problems ranging 30 years back of a titling program, the Title D. And we are giving our people the Title D, that is ownership, where they have never enjoyed those Title D. I've also adequately able to handle the issue of water. Now we are enjoying adequate supply of water in the entire ward. You'll be shocked that my ward didn't have a polytechnic. And my ward is one of the biggest. Actually, it measures 104 square kilometers. It is twice bigger than Kabete. So it is a very vast ward. But I have been able to put, we have been able to put one polytechnic that is serving now the people of Njue. We intend also to do others. Personally, I've come up with some initiative to assist youth. When I joined, when I was elected, we never used to have any youth activity. Currently, I've supported football for the last 5 years. Even there is one which is ongoing. I've also overseen, darts and pool competition. We have been able to give the car wash machine, 20 in numbers to different youth group, and also the vibrators machine to assist, our youth group to so that they can be able to earn a living. So we have done a lot, and that is what I'm going to be, rallying so that I can be voted in. I have also been able to do a lot of, writing to the tune of more than 200 street right and about 10 right mask. So the area is now well reached. So
also, you led the Kiambu County Assembly in impeaching the governor. Would you want that to go down in your CV in your first 5 years?
Absolutely, because it is something which has been tried, in the last 7 years.
Yeah, you're the first majority leader to lead an impeachment, successful.
Yes,
yes.
And in fact, whenever other assemblies tried to do that, they seek some advice from me. I was able to, anyway.
All right. Let's go to Elijah. Why did you start as a MCA, Senator, MP? Why governor?
It's a very familiar question.
I tell you for fact that you're going against a very formidable leader.
Absolutely, because of the perception, because we have been indoctrinated to believe these semi-gods are everything. If you are asking for that opinion, if we had I would take back to history. In 1952, if we had an opinion of the freedom fighters we wanted, we would be in bondage today. Because none of these people you call, none of these people you call formidable would even go near anything. Because these are people who appear, they have, the way you want to see their shells is because they want to portray an image. That's why they have big cars, they live in big neighborhoods, but inside them, there's nothing. So personally, I'm not the kind of guy to fear. First of all, I say, I don't fear an army of lions led by sheep. Okay. So
you find out the anyway why?
No, don't validate it. Don't validate it.
Yes,
because they are watching. Because I want everybody to know.
Yes,
we cannot live in these perpetual lies anymore. We have to come up, because democracy is about giving the consent to those people to govern us. We are the majority. But what we're having in Kenya is probably a ruling class of the rich, which you would call oligarchy at some point. This is not a democracy, and that's why I told you we have to redefine it and validate it as a democracy. I'll tell you one point. I digress a little bit. When America was being formed.
Okay, pick up the pace. We need to wind up.
Okay, fine. There was one of their outcome freedom fighters called James Madison. James Madison, he wrote in their constitution, he wrote, knowledge will never govern ignorance. That is the concept of America. Ignorance has never governed knowledge. But here in Kenya, it's the opposite. Ignorance governs knowledge.
And do you think some of the ideologies you've picked up from the States will be able to help you in the 2022 politics?
Don't even talk about me picking, because I'm a very grassroots fella. We want jobs for our youth. I told you about our girls don't have sanitary towels. We want a good economy. I know where the money is. We want to tell these people to stop wasting money and put the money where it is. So it's not about America, it's fixing issues here.
All right. Gentlemen, we need more time for this, and I will be more than glad to invite you again. But unfortunately, our time is up. But thank you so much for making time. I have been speaking to two politicians. On my immediate left, we have MCA Ndeya Ward, who is also the majority leader, Kiambu County Assembly, who is Gideon Gachara, and Elijah Karanja, who is a gubernatorial aspirant, the great city of Nakuru. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time and for your insight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ben Troy Njue, and Susan Thuku is our sign language interpreter for the show that has just ended. We started with Anne Wangeshi, and Susan picked it up midway. Thank you so much for watching. Let's do this conversation some other time. For now, we have Kurunzi, Mashinani, and also Tamrini. See you at 1.